You know, this recent case, Lindsay Clancy, that woman who has killed all three of her underage children, it sort of demonstrated to us that feminists are in fact crazy. They are in fact members of some form of a religious cult. Okay, they actually belong to this sort of a sect. It's almost like a sect with tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions, of crazy, insane women who believe in absolute nonsense. And this case actually very vividly has demonstrated that to us. Okay, so this Lindsay Clancy, she has murdered these three kids. She has confessed to it, and there's more than enough evidence to prove that. And yet they will still go all like the full length to actually blame her husband. Okay, it's not even just trying to basically argue that maybe this Lindsay Clancy should be set free. Maybe she should just get like some minor punishment for her crime. Try to reason that she was under the influence of the medication and all that she had that postpartum sort of depression. Even that would be a little, I would say, a little stretching it, right? But they actually go all the length to blame the husband, despite that they basically say that either the husband actually he was the one who murdered the kids and then tried to murder his wife, apparently by throwing her from the second floor, which is, I don't think any sane man would do that. I mean, if you already strangled your children, you probably would do the same to your wife, right? But because, honestly, just unless you're a really stupid guy, you wouldn't throw anyone from the second floor, right? Because the chances that this person will die are actually pretty slim, okay? Because it's not that high, okay? To make sure, you would take her to at least 5-story building maybe and throw her off the roof, but just second floor. Come on. I think that in and of itself sort of proves indirectly. Well, actually, it proves directly, but actually all of the proof is already there. It's been established, right? But it additionally sort of proves us that it was Lindsay Clancy herself who tried to commit suicide after she strangled her children, basically, because only a really stupid. I don't want to sound really chauvinistic here, but she acted kind of like a lot of women would, sort of throw her off the second floor. We have the stats that show us that women are kind of shitty in suicides. Men are better at it. Men commit suicide 3-4 times more often, and men are actually successful. They use the means that they use for suicide are way more effective. Men won't throw themselves from the second fucking floor, okay? Because we are reasonable. And some women, either they are unreasonable or they will do it for sure, okay? Lindsay Clancy, maybe she, after strangling the kids, she didn't have the guts, because she's a pussy. she didn't have the guts to strangle herself. So, but she couldn't just, stay absolutely unharmed, right? Just absolutely sort of clear of any wounds, because that would be too suspicious. Because she would not just suspicious, that would look like in jail. She would look like not just a bad person, but a really terrible person, like a really horrible person. So she had to throw herself out, but it was the second floor because she didn't want to die. Because we also have some stats kind of pointing to the fact that women are, they a lot of them, not always, of course. There's like women, there's like real women who actually finish themselves like real men do, sort of. But there's a lot of them who pretend that they're like committing suicide, they choose like the safest road of committing a suicide so that then they would survive. They do it like for the show, really, okay, just to invoke some sympathy, sort of. And this is precisely how it looks like with Lindsay Clancy, actually, to be honest. So, and well, I wouldn't be like bashing on her that much, honestly. At least she's taking full responsibility of her actions. Okay, in court, she seems to be okay. She seems to be acting like a person who trying to be responsible. But the feminists, the fans of hers on TikTok, I've just watched this Bad Bachelor. I watch the guy sometimes, because he's very informative, I would say, unlike some other YouTube influencers who they just make this sort of a carousel of TikTok freaks, like female TikTok freaks, and they just discuss all of them. You can't be discussing every single one of them. They all there's 4 billion women on the planet. You're gonna be discussing every single one of them, what every single one of them has said. Like, really? We don't have the fucking time for that. Okay, news, great. Better Bachelor does that really well. So apparently he says that they raised so much money, the feminists, the crazy ones, they raised like $1 million for Lindsay Clancy. It's her guilt has been established. It's practically like 100% at this point, but they still supporting her, and like $1 million. How crazy do you have to be supporting this kind of a person with your buck? It's like, it's just I don't even know at this point which one is better. Women sort of supporting, putting out, like, signing petitions to set free some really good looking, like, model material fuckboys, or these sorts of women that are supporting Lindsay Clancy and donating is $1 million. I'm sorry, it's just. And the reasoning behind all of this is apparently, as you can see now here, the freaking, I'm at a loss of words. Do I believe in horoscope? Not really, but from my own experience, some stuff out of it might work. I don't have like the definitive proof of that, but I'm just saying that from my experience, I do have some sort of practical data that kind of shows that some of it may be true, but I'm not going to be just using horoscope to justify, to basically whitewash a murderer, okay? But these people this is exactly what they do. And, 400,000 likes on that video, which basically means there's like millions of views, and they all are supporting her. And a lot of them, they actually believe that it was the man, her husband, who actually murdered the kids and then threw her off the second floor because he's that stupid. And then they also say that, yeah, it's because he was having like a romance. And apparently, if a man is cheating on his wife, that makes him like a serial murderer. Automatically. Feminists, they probably believe that. I wouldn't be surprised, because they're crazy. They're clinically insane, As much as pro-feminist as I was back in the days, right now, I have outgrown this stupidity so much that I believe they're actually clinically insane. And this case only proves that. Actually, maybe if you were really moderate or like mild towards feminism, you just didn't support it. Now is your chance to actually go like full fucking hard mode on them. And actually, you just see it for yourself, right? That they are crazy. They believe everything that I mean, the data is already here. The proof is already right in your freaking face. They will still believe, oh, the guy, he was the man. And was he cheating on his wife? That already is a proof that he's a murderer. Oh my God, he's a serial killer. Just because he was cheating, apparently, allegedly, right? And I mean, that's just so. I mean, it's the proof is right there, right? I mean, he is all of the checks probably from the shop that he went to, the timing. He basically has the full-on alibi at this point. I'm pretty sure they probably have like cameras. I didn't really watch all of the video from the court proceedings but anyway, this whole case just shows you how retarded these people are. And some of them actually say also that, oh, they run the freaking horoscope and they just say that she couldn't murder her children because she's a Gemini, and in this like moon phase and in this month, whatever, I don't want to go like really deep in that. Geminis, they don't have the tendency to murder, but Leos do have that, and her husband is a Leo. So that proves, and don't you dare to object the truth, because if you do, that means you are a misogynist pig. This is just so ridiculous. I don't know. It's just so stupid. Yeah, but this again, the situation is much worse than I thought. I already thought it was bad, but I didn't have like I didn't think it was that bad. But now, I talked to so many feminists, and I was just like talking to this one chick that's like, she's like an anti-natalist. I consider myself agnostic, so we do have some like sort of doctrines that do correlate. And she was always telling me like, oh, I'm against feminism. I hate feminism. But then at some point, I just all I did was I just told her that, do you know that like actually, these feminists are wrong because they just keep saying that they don't need men, that men are obsolete, that men are just useless. But then they will literally drown in their own shit without men, because men keep all the really important jobs, like the infrastructure jobs, the infrastructure positions, they're all held by men. So all of the plumbers, pretty much, all of the electricians, construction, pretty much all of the really important jobs are kept by men. Women in these organizations, like if there's women, they will probably do accounting, HR stuff, but not like actually do like the blue collar work itself, right? So this in and of itself, it proves to all of us that you do need men, literally. You will drown in your own shit without lights on, in the dark, okay? Because there will be no electrician and no plumber to do the maintenance for you, okay? If all the men decide not to go to work today because their wives screamed at them, maybe, you will be drowning in your own shit in the dark, okay? That's what's gonna happen. And it's not even like some stuff that needs to be like established scientifically, right? It's something that we observe every day. Like we do see already. It's an axiom. We already see that plumbers are male. You rarely will you find a plumber that is a female. They all are males. It's an observable fact. You don't even need to establish it, like make some fucking statistical freaking calculations, whatever, some lab experiment. You don't need that. You don't need to go, fly into space, out of the earth into space and just, make some observations. You don't need that. You don't need anything, but just, I don't know, maybe you don't want to count the plumbers in your area. Like, you don't want to Google, like, call the first scene sort of plumbing service and just, do you have a female plumber? Maybe you don't want to do that. Well, then just chat GPT, just Google it, and it will give you all the stats. It's all male. The number of females is so small, they are easily replaceable. The men are not replaceable. And feminists will still believe, and that woman that I was arguing with, when I told her that, she was, and I basically said that, we don't really depend. I don't depend like on women, because all of the infrastructure jobs, they are done by men. And then this chick, she basically started, yelling at me like, so you hate women. It's like, what? No, I said that infrastructure jobs are kept by men, and women don't really work in those areas, which means that I myself, as a single guy, I don't depend on women, but a single woman is dependent on men. I, as a single guy, I'm not dependent on women at all, like zero chance, okay? Zero dependence, actually zero dependence. Because sex is not something that the absence of which is gonna kill me. But again, if a guy doesn't turn up and fix your fucking toilet, you're gonna literally drown in your own shit. I mean, I'm sorry, that's just the fucking case. That's just the case. If you have a fire in your place, right? It's burning. If man, basically the fireman, not the firewoman, if they don't show up, you're gonna die. You're gonna burn. Okay, so that's what was gonna happen. But I, as a man, I don't need my fucking nails done. I don't need my fucking eyelashes and all that shit. I don't need that because I'm not a faggot. So I don't need women. As a single guy, I don't need women. But single women do need single men. That's all I said. She immediately started like getting crazy. Started like calling me, you're Central Asian. That's why she was a Russian chick. So she was like doubling down on this, like, you're Central Asian because you're all a patriarchal bitch. Oh my God. It's like, but you like half a year ago, for the entirety of this half a year, you were telling me, like assuring me that you were not a feminist, that you are against feminists. But I didn't know you were such a pig. You hated women. It's like, I didn't. Where is the fucking hate? All I did was just point you to the fact. It's a fact that I don't need women. But you just said you don't need, and that offends women. Women say that every freaking day. All we do in response is just point to the facts. They don't watch. They don't listen to us anyway. But still, again, all I want to say is that this is basically a belief system. Feminism is a belief system where they believe that women they're like angels. They're incapable of harming, of killing their own children. Even if they do, it's the man who drove her to such madness. Never works the other way around. If a man says that I was provoked, you're just a male pig, just a cock carrier, fucking dirty bastard. You were born that way. If a woman does that, as feminists, as they are doing right now with Lindsay Clancy, but you have to understand, she was in such state of mind. You have to set her free. It's not her fault. Or maybe even it was her husband who actually staged everything somehow. I don't know how, because she actually admitted to her own crime in court. So how is it then that she forgot that it was her her husband actually murdered, killed the kids, and then threw her off the second floor? So she just forgot that. How did he control that? Just he has like some hypnosis skills. There's just too many ingredients in this whole case. Then, okay, so feminists actually believe in that. That's why they are defending Lindsay Clancy, because they believe in this nonsense. The women are, they can't they can't actually harm anyone to such a degree, especially their own children. It's faith, it's belief. We have the stats that women, there's plenty of female criminals. Okay, there's right now, like, you go to Law and Crime Network channel, you'll see like school teacher fucking her, like some schoolboy, 11 to 16-year-old, like schoolboy, every other day now. Oh no, but that doesn't count. But man, you know how many times men do that? It's like, that's their response. But they will still just keep believing that the women are so great, that they're just awesome. They're so much better. That they all are humanists. They're incapable of doing something as terrible as this kind of a murder. You know, like just crimes in general. I guess that's what they believe in. And in fact, you know what? Feminism is like the stupidest religious cult, really, because, as I have already like said above, you can't, you know, they believe in something that is easily verifiable. Well, they, as I've already said, they believe that men are obsolete, that they don't need men, which we see this shit from their stupid surveys where, you know, some guy walks around the street and just asks girls, you know, oh, what do you think? Like, do we need men? No, of course we don't need men. They're big. Oh my God. It's like, again, you will drown in your own shit. Okay? And if an enemy state attacks you, you will need men to fight back. You do need men, but they believe that they don't need men. And they actually believe that all men are evil, which makes feminism the stupidest kind of a faith. Even flat earth is not as insane, okay? Because at least flat earth, like debunking flat earth is harder than debunking this feminist narrative that men are evil and then they're all obsolete. Because to debunk flat earth, you know, they will bring you against you these arguments, for example, like, oh, you know, yeah, but, you know, we have these calculations and that show that the planet is actually spherical. But no, it's just calculations. Okay, but we have these NASA astronauts orbiting the planet right now. They are literally making live streams of the planet Earth. And they're showing us that it's spherical. No, there's literally this Russian oligarch who's like a Russian hardcore Orthodox Christian, and he basically says that, well, it's just optical illusion. It's just because the glass they're using in space, it basically it shrinks, it shrinks the elongated sort of planet Earth. It shrinks it, and because of that, it looks, it makes it like almost like round looking, spherical. But in reality, it's not. So like. I mean, there's still some work to do to disprove that, right? In the end, you'll probably have to actually take the guy to the orbit, to the space, and actually show it to him. Use different like kinds of glasses that look, in all of the kinds of glasses, it's still freaking spherical. So, you know, there's work to do. But for feminists, every single statement they make, every single of their belief is easily debunkable, as I said, just by observation. We observe, we see pretty much all of the plumbers, electricians are male, construction workers, male, police, male, you know, firemen, male, military, male, everything is fucking male. Okay? They will still tell you, but I don't believe that men are needed. I've just literally, you are observing them doing the really necessary job. Not your fucking nails, not your freaking eyelashes, bullshit. They really need a job, okay? They're doing that. You are not doing that, but they are. But I still don't believe it. There you go. Flat earthers are actually smarter than feminists. Okay? That's just the way it goes now. Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, yeah.